Hiya, my name's Lottie Chettle and I'm the head of maths at Logic and I also teach history as well. I thought today what I would do is just go through my 5 top tips for teaching vocab. Hopefully they'll be applicable across the maths curriculum, the history curriculum, and then also you can start to see how you could just embed them into your lessons right after this quick 5-minute video. So, teaching vocab. Tip 1, hashtag the Freuder Model. Now, this is my absolute favourite way to introduce a new definition. For example, you can see there the quadratic function. And the reason I like this way so much is because it really gets the students thinking about what that word means. So you've got there my definition, for example, but what I like about it is really thinking about the characteristics and then comparing examples and non-examples. In maths, this can be really powerful, particularly when certain sort of characteristics can lead themselves to represent different things. But also in terms of something like history, I might use it for the word revolution, and then you can really start to delve into, well, what are the characteristics of revolution, and then you can compare to what extent, say, the Russian Revolution is actually a revolution. Which leads me on to my tip 2, which is hashtag word roots. Now, whenever I've got a word such as autocratic and democratic, I will always try to teach the students the word root of it. So you can see there, obviously, this is just from a PowerPoint. I have looked at the Greek root of cracked, meaning rule, and then auto, self, dem, people. This can be really powerful because it can really build schema and connections in the student's head. If they start to know actually what does crack mean, anytime they see the word crack, they can make a really good educated guess about what that word could be. Sometimes as well, I really like to look at the history of a word. So you'll see here that word revolution, which I've mentioned before. I think sometimes giving it a bit of context can get the kids to understand it a bit more. So if you look back at the initial sort of early Latin of the word revolution, it actually meant to go back or come or return. And over history, that word has developed to mean something completely different. And I think linking kind of like the English and the history side of things here can increase the students' schema and their connections. So tip 3 is all about dual coding. This can be really nice in both maths and history. You'll see here I've done a maths example, getting the students to really think about when they see the word quadratic, what imagery or what pictures come to mind. Particularly with that word, it can mean so many different, or it can allude to so many different sort of equations or graphs. I think it's really important that they start to build up that schema and imagery. Exactly the same I might do with revolution. If I was introducing the word revolution, I might have pictures of what a revolution might look like, and that would help if I was going to then go on to the model and build up the characteristics. Tip 4. This is a really, really simple one, but I think can be incredibly effective, which is my hashtag checklist. So you'll see here I've picked 5 keywords: Bolshevik, revolution, seizure, degree, and red guard. How I might use these is I would recall these definitions because they would have explored them before. And then I would get them to write them down, and I'd have them written down on the board as well. Throughout the whole rest of that lesson, those students need to use those words in full sentences back to me. That not only increases their oracy, their pronunciation, and their understanding of the word, but it also means that you're kind of like embedding that word and it becomes normal to them. It can be quite a nice competition because you can see at the end of the lesson how many, the students kind of mark how many times they've used the word revolution. And finally, tip 5, hashtag rehearsal. This is actually a geography example, but it can be really nice for hard to pronounce words, particularly if you're teaching the Russian dictatorship in A-level history. I personally find that actually students do not understand the definition more if they're not too sure how to pronounce it, because they don't find that actually they're using it in sentences, they're not confident in those words, and therefore they end up kind of forgetting them or neglecting them. So if you can get the students really rehearsing them, then they can be talking about, revolution ongoing again and again and again, that means that they will be confident in pronouncing them, confident in using them, and then hopefully confident in understanding what they mean in an exam. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that was helpful.